Hi everyone, and welcome back to the final video in our CAPS collection. Today we're going to be looking at section 4, which is assessment in home language. So with this, please don't get too caught up in this section just yet, because each school will have its own plan for dealing with assessment. Now, obviously, because CAPS is designed to ensure that all schools are following the same plan, it does prescribe the way in which the assessments will be delivered and what assessments need to be completed each term. So, first of all, we go through what assessment is. We go through the differences between informal and formal assessments, which you will do in greater detail in this module. And then we have over here, for grade 10, this is the way we break down the grade 10 and 11 marks. So your school-based assessment, this is all of the assessments that you do during the year. That is 25%. So you have 2 tests, 7 tasks, 1 examination. And then the end of year papers count for 75%. 62.5% will come from paper 1, which is language and context, paper 2, which is literature, and paper 3, which is writing, and then 12.5 will come from your oral assessments, so your listening, your speaking, prepared and unprepared speeches. Now, what happens if you want to do more than 2 tests, for example? Are you able to? Of course you are. What will happen is you will do, if you want to do 5 tests during the year, you can, of course, and then you will combine those marks into the 2 test marks. So we'll go into detail on that in a little bit. So the formal assessment for grade 12 is the same, 25% for your school-based assessment, which is 1 test, 7 tasks, and 2 examinations, and then 75% for your year-end exams, which is 12.5% for your oral, and then 62.5% for your 3 exams. So over here, we have your essentially a breakdown of Bloom's taxonomy. So how do we divide each test? We have 40% of the test should be literal and reorganizational. So these are the sort of questions you will ask, literal questions. So identify the narrator, describe the place the narrator goes to school. And then we are asking to do things like summarize, group the common elements, state the similarities, give an outline. Inference, which is level 3. These are questions that require candidates' engagement with information explicitly stated in the text in terms of his or her personal experience. So explain the main idea, compare the ideas, what is the writer's intention, attitude, motive, explain the cause effect, what does this action reveal, how does this metaphor, simile, image affect your understanding, etc. 40%. And then evaluation and appreciation, these are the highest. These take up 20% of the test. These questions deal with judgments concerning value and worth. And then these questions are intended to assess the psychological and aesthetic impact of the text on the candidates. So discuss your response. Do you empathize? Discuss, comment on the writer's judgment. And for evaluative, do you think that what transpires is credible, realistic? Is the writer's argument valid, logical? Discuss, compare critically. Do you agree with the statement in your view, etc.? So that's actually a really nice breakdown of how you need to set your tests. Okay, and then over here, we have overview of requirements. So for grade 10 to 11, in term 1, you need 1 written text plus 3 tasks. For term 2, you need 2 tasks plus a mid-year exam comprising 3 papers, paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, 1 written test, 1 task, 1 internal end-of-year examinations comprising 3 papers. Okay, so each term add raw scores and totals and convert to a percentage for the term mark. And then for the promotion mark, so what is their final mark for the year? You add the raw scores and totals for the school-based assessments from term 1 to term 4 and convert them to 25. So that's this, and that task. And then you convert paper 1 to 17.5, convert paper 2 to 20%, paper 3 to 25%, and the oral mark to 2.5%. And that overall will come to 100%. Don't get hung up on this. Okay, there is the SAM system, which does do all the calculations for you. So program of assessment. So the tasks that you need to do in term 1, orals, writing, and that's what's tested in the test. And then for term 2, task 5, task 6, task 7, task 8, task 9, task 10, task 11. So just note this, test 1 could be set out of 35 marks, or if more, should be converted to 35 marks. So if you end up actually doing 3 separate tests, so language and context, a comprehension, and then a summary test, that's fine. So if the language and context is 10 marks, and the summary is 10 marks, and the comprehension is 20 marks, that brings you to a total of 40 marks. You will then convert that mark out of 40 to a mark out of 35, and that is what you will enter into SASAMS. That is the program into which you enter your marks. Okay. And then we have the same thing for grade 12. Once again, don't panic about all of this. The schools will have set up systems in place for you to follow. And then, of course, we have the suggested lengths, and then the sections that you need to assess on. Once again, content to be covered, oral assessments, and then recording and reporting. Those are the different levels. So we do have rating codes. So you might see, for example, a student gets 5, and then for one subject, 6 for one subject, 4 for another subject. What does that mean? 5 means substantial achievement, that's 60 to 69%. And then we have moderation. So of course, every task should be moderated, in fact needs to be moderated. That is to ensure everyone is marking to the same standards, that marking is fair. And it goes through this section over here. And then finally, we have our glossary. And this is actually very, very useful. So that actually is pretty much everything you need to know about the CAPS document. Oh, sorry, yes. The appendix is, this is your language structures and conventions. So this is what they need to know. And some more over there. And that is the CAPS document. So while it is long, and it does seem to be quite difficult to get through, it is in fact very, very comprehensive and extremely useful. And it essentially takes you through everything you need to know and everything you need to do as an English teacher. I hope this series has been informative to you, and I hope that you now do not feel intimidated by the CAPS document.